Je m'appelle Ross Twiddell, your Cultaholic heavyweight champion, and welcome to all of these AEW WTF moments for this week's Dynamite. An episode that was fantastic, just about all the way through, but once again, the spooky gimmicks let the show down. You're thinking, wow, what a great show. We couldn't have a better end to AEW's first year of life. But then Brandy Rhodes comes on. And then the Dark Order, while the stuff leading up to the end of the show, it was great. It added layers to them. I was on board, but then the end happened and I was thinking, ah. WTF! The only way that there is acceptable if that man there is Buzz from Home Alone, and Buzz from Home Alone is still going out with the girlfriend he had in Home Alone 1. If it's not that, that's a bit sad, isn't it? Now, I've got no doubts that stat is 100% correct, but that didn't stop that stat there knocking me out of my chair this morning. I fell straight on the floor and I bruised me pelvis Wesley. I can't shake me hips any longer. Justin Roberts looks nowhere close to being old enough to have 23 years of ring announcing experience under his belt, especially when you consider that he has spent at least 22 and a half of those 23 years saying one word. Yeah, John. I don't know. Make it say something like Happy Holidays. That's how the Cowboys speak. And I was thinking, wow, when I saw that last night, and I remembered what they did on last week's Dynamite, I think it was, when it was revealed that Hangman Adam Page was at home while Dynamite was on, drinking an entire bottle of whiskey all on his own. They're starting something here, aren't they? I cannot wait for a couple of years down the line when we have an entire document's worth of Hangman happenings. Then, and Tony Khan, you better do this because it makes too much sense for you not to do. Book Hangman Adam Page versus Matt Hardy in a Hangman's Happenings versus Matt Facts custody thing. The custody of the random facts ladder match. It's great. So as I was saying at the start of the video, the stuff that happened with the Dark Order earlier in the night, it was good stuff. It was more good stuff on top of the good stuff we saw on last week's show. Look at sexy, svelte, evil Uno doing his own Max Headroom incident. Oh, what a cherub. Now I've got to make this a WTF moment because while Hangman Adam Page was doing his cowboy poo through the ropes, Big Dick Tony Schiavone got on the commentary microphone and said, wow, isn't it amazing the things Adam Page can do for a man of his size? And then I recalled at the start of the match, Adam Hangman Page was billed at £219, not £90, £19. And then I looked on Wikipedia, and Wikipedia reckons that Hangman Adam Page is just 6 foot tall. 6 foot tall, £219 by the standards of modern day professional wrestling. Hangman Adam Page should be doing your tope suicidas, your tope con helos, your flippy dippy doo rana, or whatever Tony and Jim called that move the other week. And I guess this is just a commentary on the general size of the AEW roster, but in the grand scheme of the professional wrestling world, Big Dick Tony Schiavone, your sentiments there are very 1974, aren't they? Even when Rey Fenix is dazed and confused and he's doing professional wrestling maneuvers to nothing but thin air, it's still a beautiful thing. And that's a WTF moment in my book. Let's move on. One question here, boys and girls, going off that image alone there. How the hell did Excalibur know that is Michael Nakazawa? For a start, Excalibur, that's not Michael's personal dressing room, as you'll see by the wall there. That's the AEW men's locker room. It could have been anybody. I guess if we are looking for clues that could have given the way for Excalibur, the hat might have given it away, but I think this entire moment would have been better if Excalibur said, oh, I spoke to him, I saw him earlier in the day, it's Michael Nakazawa. I like his lovely hat. Doing it like he did there, Excalibur painted himself to be a superhero with superhero vision. Now that's a weird collection of people, isn't it? Jake Hager, Chuck Taylor, woman in hat, man in hoodie. But on a more serious note, I just could not imagine Mr. Jake Hager and Mr. Chuck Taylor spending any amount of time together whatsoever, but they were there, so that's weird. But since they did, and the realization that Jake and Chuck were there together, that left me making one noise. We've got to tick the quota off, don't we? Jim versus Names. The saga rumbles on. Here we have a direct quote from Jim from last night's call on Dynamite when he said, "That's how powerful this huge tattoos man is that they're calling Blade." Jim, man, that's Butcher. And I know that to try and save the situation, Big Dick Tony Schiavone was like, "Jim, just look at their arses and read what is on their arse." But it turns out that the Butcher has a bloody blade on his arse. So no wonder Jim called him the Blade. But as I said last week, this Jim versus Name saga, and the fact that last week on Dynamite, Jim pointed it out, yet still he can't do anything about it. It's just sad, isn't it? Is it time for him to go? Get this one right, boys and girls. That's a Jungle Jim. But the character arc the Jungle Boy is going on at the moment is a bit weird, isn't it? A few short weeks ago, of course, we saw that wonderful promo package that painted Jungle Boy to be an animal. He was in a forest. He was by the side of a river. He was doing animal things. He was commentated on top of by Sir David Attenborough, of all people, the actual David Attenborough. It might not have been. But now, he's doing this. Look at him. He can work all the big, complicated machines. It's like he's a different man. He's come a very long way in a very short space of time. And then, because I'm a sensible, law-abiding boy, I had access to the Fight TV version of Call on Dynamite, so I watched it because you get more for your money. You see and you hear everything that goes on during the commercial breaks. But during one of the commercial breaks, they showed a lot of signs, and let's go through the WTF ones one by one. Now, I'm not here to kink shame, but there's some weird kinks out there, isn't there? And now a moment of silence and reflection for that lass's boyfriend. How the hell do you come back from that? My other car is a Luchasaurus? Somebody tell me the reference. I don't get the reference. All I see there is Luchasaurus spelled incorrectly. Help us. And then we have that, the sign of the night. It's just beautiful, isn't it? So good, I had to include it. And then they showed that sign there. And even though it was during a commercial break that I don't think had the picture-in-picture thing going on, ooh, is that on purpose? Just this past week, of course, Cody Rhodes did say in an interview that Marty Scurll's move to the NWA, do not take that as a long-term ting, take that as a short-term ting, because Marty Scurll is testing out all the different waters currently. Was that a sign of things to come? That's a pun. From Tokyo, Japan, Awesome Kong. Is that a thing? Now, to re-jog the old memory banks, I re-watched one of her TNA entrances, and rightfully, I'm guessing, the announcer said, residing in Japan. Justin Roberts reckons she's from there. Big difference. Now, during one of the commercial breaks, the Inner Circle did some things, and I'm just going to read out what happened, because that's enough, quite frankly. Sammy Guevara walked through a door dressed like a member of Run DMC. Chris Jericho called him a Spanish sex god. That's a weird form of character development. And then they had signs showing what they were saying. So the idiots watching TNT, I'm sorry if you've got no choice but to watch TNT. You're missing out because Fight TV's fantastic. Give me money, Fight. Please. So these idiots watching TNT could see what was going on, but I was perusing Twitter for potential WTF moments before I came in the studio, and I saw that apparently TNT cut the picture-in-picture thing while that was going on, and I really hope that AEW have not pissed off TNT, because we need TNT. We need that platform, don't we? I just hope it was planned. Big Tony Khan, please tell me that was planned. And next up we have the mother of Jungle Boy. We have Jungle Mother laughing at the sight of her baby boy getting his arse whooped at the hands of Chris Jericho. What's wrong with you, woman? Jesus! And next up we have the moment where Chris Statlander booped Britt Baker right on the nose, and naturally, because he hasn't got a Scooby-Doo what's going on anymore, Jim Ross asked what that was about. I feel bad. And Excalibur said, and I quote, "That's how Statlander species communicates." That's enough there. That's the WTF moment there. So next up we have the captivating Brandy Rhodes coming down the ramp, and she tells Chris Statlander that she comes in peace. Aliens. But she also tells Chris Statlander that she has an open-ended question. Are you with the Nightmare Collective, or are you not? And I was thinking, Brandy, that's the very definition of a closed question. An open question allows anything to be answered, but a closed question that requires a yes or a no answer. Are you joining the Nightmare Collective or not? Yes or no? Closed question. And then we fast forward through some fantastic professional wrestling action to the closing stages of the night, where the Dark Order, the Dark Order came out. The Gimps, they jumped all over the Young Bucks and SCU. And then at the end, they all took that pose up there and started chanting, "We are one. We are one." And when I heard it, I was like, whose professional wrestling theme had "We are one, we are one, we are one, we will fight"? Nexus. Like Nexus, aren't they? And that's it for the WTF moments from not only this week's AEW Dynamite, but for me, from the live wrestling for 2019. One more WTF moment video coming this year. That's my biggest of the year. God, what a year. Once again, I'd just like to thank you for being a sexual wank pheasant for yet another year. Let's have a fantastic 2020 together. Once again, I'm struggling to do this sincere bollocks. I'm a bad human being. I'll see you next year. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. And if you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cultaholic. Hit subscribe and join us.